Hi everyone, this is Miss Malia, Food Course Service Member at CAS, and today for garden class I'm going to show you how to make pumpkin pancakes. These are one of my favorite things to do in the morning is make these pancakes, so I can't wait to share it with you. Let's get started.
Here are the ingredients I'm using. These are the wet ingredients: almond milk or some kind of liquid, oil, pumpkin puree, and an egg. And here are the dry ingredients. I'm using whole wheat flour, white flour, salt, baking powder, and cinnamon.
First, I'm going to add some kind of liquid to my pancakes, and this could be almond milk, or water, anything you have on hand. And I'm going to mix all of my wet ingredients into one bowl first, and then we'll do the dry ingredients later. Starting with the wet ingredients. All right, I've got a full cup measure and a half cup measure, and I need 1.5 cups of almond milk in this. So how can I use this full cup measure and this half cup measure to get 1.5 cups of liquid into my pancake recipe? What do you think? Well, I'm going to start with the 1 cup measure. I need 1.5 cups of liquid. So I'll just start with the whole number, 1 cup. All right, there's 1 cup. Now I need 1 cup plus a half cup. So I can use my half cup measure. Now you can do a kind of test to make sure this really is a half cup. It can kind of show you visually. So you can take your half cup and pour it into the full cup measure, and it's kind of a cool visual. You can see that it fills it up halfway. So that's cool. 1/2. All right, I'm done with this liquid. Now I need to add a cup of pumpkin puree. You could also substitute a cup of shredded carrots or another kind of fruit or vegetable that you think would be tasty in pancakes. But I'm going to use this pumpkin puree that I actually salvaged this from a jack-o'-lantern in the fall that I had. And after Halloween, I roasted the jack-o'-lantern and then I cooked it down with some sugar and spice, and then I froze it, and that's how I got this pumpkin puree. You can also use pumpkin puree from a can. I love using that as well. 1 cup of pumpkin puree. Okay, next I need to add 2 tablespoons of oil. And a tablespoon is a lot bigger than a teaspoon. It's and then you can think about a table is bigger than a teacup, right? So a tablespoon is bigger than a teaspoon, and I need 2 tablespoons of oil in this. But all I have is a half tablespoon measuring spoon. And I don't know where the full tablespoon went. I must have lost it at some point. But how could I still get the measurement I want when I only have 1/2 of a tablespoon? How can I get 2 tablespoons? Well, to start, I'm just gonna add a half tablespoon plus a half tablespoon equals 1 full tablespoon. Now let's do it again. 1/2 tablespoon plus 1/2 tablespoon equals 1 full tablespoon. Now I have 2 tablespoons added to my wet ingredients. Last step, let's crack an egg in it. and whisk it up. This is the fun part. Really whisk all of your wet ingredients together. Okay, looks good to me. Now I'm gonna set aside my wet ingredients for now so that I can focus on my dry ingredients. First thing I wanna do for my dry ingredients is add 1 cup of white flour. Okay, this is a 1 cup measure and I filled it right to the 1 cup line. So you just have to read the side and make sure to find where it says 1 cup. Then I'm also going to add, this recipe calls for 1.5 cups of flour. I'm going to make 1/2 cup of the flour whole wheat, because whole wheat flour has more of the fiber and more of the plant intact in it, and so it gives you long-lasting energy throughout the day. So I'm going to make 1/2 cup of the flour whole wheat. Let's check, see if I'm at a 1/2 cup. Ah, perfect, a 1/2 cup. Now the recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And baking powder is what's going to make these pancakes really fluffy. 1 and 2. 2 teaspoons. And a little bit of salt. So instead, the recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt, but instead of using a 1/2 teaspoon measure, I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon measure. Look how tiny it is. This is a 1/4 teaspoon measure. So if I want a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, but I'm using a 1/4 teaspoon measure, how many of these do I need? Let's do it together. One 1/4 teaspoon of salt plus 1/4 teaspoon of salt equals 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. Okay, now the last ingredient I'm going to add is going to pull these pancakes together. It's the cinnamon, and it's going to add such a nice warm taste to these pancakes. So you can add a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm adding kind of a heaping teaspoon because I just love cinnamon. I'm going to mix all of my dry ingredients together. And now I will add my wet ingredients right to my dry ingredients. Mix them together, and this is the point at which you check and see like how it's doing. So the consistency of this actually is looking a little bit too sticky. This could have actually used an extra 1/2 cup of liquid. So I'll add that now. All right, let's take it over to the stovetop. Have an adult turn the stovetop on and put a pan on top. Then the adult can help you put some butter or oil into the pan. As the butter melts, spread it around the pan. Now it's ready for me to add some of my pancake batter. So one of the things I'm looking for before I flip the pancakes is I want to make sure there's little air bubbles starting to show through, and that's how I know the pancake is ready to turn or to flip. That looks pretty good.
I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I hope you had some fun with fractions while also learning about making pancakes. My challenge for you all is to try making something at home that uses measuring cups and tablespoons and teaspoons. So it could be these pancakes, or it could be another fun family recipe. But my challenge for you is to get cooking. Have a blast, and I'll see you next time. Bye!